也是被 Faker 吊打过的人，你是想这么说吗？
哎，这是你说的
他还真没被 Faker 吊打过，其实当时是5-5开。
改口的速度贼快。
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the LPL, of course, brought to you guys in English here on Twitch TV. My name is Rapid. I'm here with our special guest for tonight, Kelsey Moser, who is filling in for our regularly designed programming for tonight's Best of Twos. Second Best of Two coming your way between OMG and LGD. In case you missed the first one, it was a 1-1 split between Starhorn and World Elite Academy. Once again, showing that they have a lot of issues there, but a unanimous caster decision here. 1-1s across the board. I would have expected to see it more favored towards OMG, but it appears as if...
Yeah, I'm really surprised to see that too, actually. I think, though, they are taking into account the 2 weeks where OMG used Neymar and they didn't look that strong. So in terms of the week where they had Cloud back and they looked really, really dominating, that's just one isolated set. So they're sort of taking this into account. LGD, though, their performance has been pretty off and on as well. So they can be surprising. Chuen, who has been criticized a lot for a shallow champion pool, meaning that he just plays Lee Sin, has the past couple sets shown that he can do a little bit more with Elise and Jarvan than we've seen from him before. So that sort of lends a little bit of element of surprise coming out of this LGD roster, and let's see if they can prove the casters right and take a win off of.
And to be honest, LGD have been performing, I guess, very well, but they've been doing very, like, strange, surprising things. They were the first team that I ever saw go for, like, the 4 to 5 man, like, 3-minute gank mid lane that no mid laner suspects, and you pick a couple of high CC champions like Morgana, maybe Elise, and you go for some crazy, crazy early ganks. LGD is the quintessential no laning phase team. They will just sit in your enemy jungle, roam around, and kill anybody that comes through there. So it's pretty weird, the kind of things that they've been doing, at least by traditional sort of North American or European standards. So it's actually really exciting to watch some of these times. You can see their lineups coming through there. And a big star on the team, you got to look at Wayless. He came out of the LSPL, if I'm not mistaken, and has just actually stacked up some pretty impressive numbers, but has taken a few really hard falls. So just leading to some of the inconsistencies from LGD that land them at the middle of the pack.
And again, we keep seeing more assassin favoring mid laners, and Wayless is no exception. He's definitely the primary playmaker of this team, but XQ here, he's sort of a rising AD carry star coming out here. He's been playing a lot of Lucian, a lot of Jinx, as you can see in the past few games, so that represents a wide range of styles that he's able to access, and he's been doing well. And PYL is the captain of the team here. He has played against some strange picks, like we mentioned, the Zillion. LGD is very creative with their compositions. They try to play to the champions and to what they are capable of. PYL is a very strong captain, and Wayless joined the team pretty much on the fact that he was the captain and had so much faith in him. So when LGD wins, it's usually due to PYL's creativity and some of the strategic plays that he comes out with.
That's true, and I actually saw a ranking system the other day that said that XQ is actually one of, if not, he's way up there in the 80 carry rankings in China. I don't know about that. I haven't necessarily seen like super hardcore carries out of him. But now we're gonna move on to OMG. They are one of the last 70% plus win rate team in LPL. We're going to start things from the bottom line, and this is, of course, looking at back to the team. It's Cloud, and nobody could be happier to see Cloud back on the team than myself. Casting Neymar's games was a little bit rough here and there, but Cloud is back, and he is down in the bottom lane to dish out some devastation. And it's so good to see him just back and kind of gelling there with San in the bottom lane, because OMG looks back to as strong as they've ever been.
And yeah, part of that is definitely Son can be a pretty strong AD carry in the teamfight phase, but he's definitely very dependent on synergy with his support player. So having a strong position there also makes Son do much better than he was doing without him. So that's a huge impact. And
Yeah, we're gonna get to the newly shaven duo of Cool and Drug. But what were you gonna say about Cool?
Cool is definitely really considered one of the primary playmakers, not just of OMG, but of all of LPL. He's favored a wide range of champion picks. I'm excited for 4.12 to see him play Ari again, since that's where he really kicked off with his fame last season. So, Drug coming out.
And yeah, you can see Drug, both of them really talking about playmakers. Drug has kind of struggled or druggled in the jungle sometimes, and making some questionable plays. But man, look at going. This guy is always like the big front man for OMG. You see him in all their hype videos, and he just commands such a stage presence. I know that Sao Mei is probably the most famous kid in China, but going's got some swag about it. So it's nice to see OMG coming into this matchup. They're looking good.
Yeah, and Going is the big brother of the team. That's his nickname there. So he plays a very big brother kind of style with the champ. He wins lane pretty consistently, but what he does with that is he finds ways to pick enemies in the enemy jungle to find opportunities, and he'll often take Cool or Drug with him to sort of spread the wealth there.
And so switching things over to LGD, like we've talked about how off of maybe their mid lane, maybe some of their creativity, that's how they start things off and get to their advantages. And I just taking a look at the standings before we hop into this. LGD come out in 6th place with 10 points, so a full 9 points behind OMG. Coming in here to picks and bans, what are we looking to see banned out there? There's Ziggs away from Cool, no Rengar for Drug, which is what he uses for a lot of his playmaking, and there is the standard mid lane bans back towards Wayless.
Right, and we're seeing the assassin bans, pretty predictable, the Kassadin, the Yasuo. I wouldn't be surprised, actually, even to see a Zed, unless OMG is hoping that they're going to save that pick and they can pick it from them. Yeah, the Lulu coming out, and of course LGD is happy to snatch up that Gragas since it's left open.
Yeah, so Gragas, probably the biggest default pick. It's not quite caught on to that same degree in Europe and North America, but especially, and now even more so in Korea, it is sort of the definitive top lane pick. And because we're so far behind on patches here, this is pre-nerfed Gragas, so he still has free sustain in the form of his W, so still be bringing that one out. Now, Chuan is actually going to be bringing Jarvan here, and do you really think, like, I mean, Lee Sin is obviously very highly favored as one of, if not the strongest jungler here. Do you think it's good enough to pick Gragas first and give the Lee Sin away? Or maybe should have done that in reverse order?
Well, I would say that Chuan has been showing promise in Jarvan and Elise, but against OMG, I think that's very risky. Alan has publicly stated, or Drog, excuse me, now has publicly stated that Lee Sin is his favorite champion. The few times that he's played it have been extremely devastating for the enemy team. He can almost single-handedly carry games on that champion. So I definitely question their decision in this particular matchup to not first pick Lee Sin since it was open. But we are going to see some variety on XQ with that Tristana pick.
Exactly, and I would have expected XQ to be the guy to pick either Lucian or maybe even like a Corki or something, just because I think he does have his fair share of. I think it's is it XQ or San that had all the Jinx games? I think it was San.
XQ as the Jinx player
all right.
in this particular. San has played him. Actually, fun fact: San was the first person to play Jinx in LPL, but he hasn't really played him much since. XQ though has played him the last 3 games in a row.
And so bringing out the, that's true. He's not playing himself. It's always interesting when I see a champion do something. I'm like, do I talk about like the champion's gender doing something or the player's gender? I want to see more female League of Legends players, so it can be kind of the reverse way around. But the last pick is going to be a Xerath here, and a lot of kind of controversy surrounding Xerath. I mean, it's not locked in just yet, but it should be the pick that Cloud decides to go for. A lot of controversy just because there are some wacky things you can do with his ultimate. We'll see exactly how effective that becomes as we So we hop in here to the last pick. 7 seconds left on the counter. And do you go Xerath here against the Orianna?
I would say maybe not so much against the Orianna, but against the Tristana. Xerath's range, he's a little bit weak in laning phase, but his range early should keep him fairly far away from the Orianna. Cool is much more known for picking champions that he can make plays with around the map, and Xerath with his long range ultimate is definitely falls into that category. And he and Drug are going to be looking at getting to that backline, getting to that potentially hyper carry Tristana and shutting it down as much as possible. So Xerath was chosen for that over the top potential in this instance.
And a lot of times you actually pick like a Xerath Rengar combo so that Rengar can throw down his empowered Bolo. And then you just ult right on top of the guy. No room for counterplay there. So the big thing to talk about as far as this composition is considered is I guess maybe mid laners, but like you said, it's going to be about those team fights when you set up for the Xerath ults. If Xerath snipes the back line, then XQ can't really do anything, especially since he's playing Tristana, so he's not really mobile unless he uses Rocket Jump, which really does take him for a fair distance out of the fight. So we'll see if the Orianna and the big hard engage from LGD is enough to take this one down, but they also might have some wacky early game shenanigans in mind as well, so you can never count LGD out for having something strange in their pocket.
Yeah, and again, not just Drug and Cool, but they have a lot of ways to get to the back line with that Shyvana, who's able to Dragon's Descent into the team, and even Cloud's Thresh, who can get a hook onto the backline. So it'll be interesting to see how these teams interact. Like as we said before, Tristana in that late game is going to be fairly safe with her rocket jump. So it's just going to be about how much CC can she dodge.
That's true, because there's going to be a lot of it coming her way, especially if you look at Drug trying to make his way all the way back there. So going to be taking a quick trip into game number 1 of our best of 2 series here tonight. It's our second one of the night between LGD taking on OMG. So battle of the 3-letter acronyms coming out onto the Rift. So pretty impressive play no matter how you want to look at it. LGD come in as somewhat the underdogs, 9 points behind in the standings for an OMG that is looking almost stronger than ever. Cool's finally found his groove as the Emperor there in the mid lane, and then Cloud down in the bottom lane. It's so good to see that guy back with San. Just revolutionizes that bottom lane and brings it back into line with what we expect.
Fun fact, San's nickname is actually Emperor. He is Emperor San.
Okay, so San is the Emperor, and Cool's got his grooves, so finding a lot of synergy there.
There you go. Though apparently, small bit of trivia, all of OMG is known as San's concubines. So there you go.
Well, we'll see how much he makes them live up to that in this game. But all right, so starting things off with probably traditional lanes, and this is okay. A little bit of a stress ward there, and actually the sweeper here not able. Okay, the ward finally does go down, but a lot of action just centered around being able to sweep out that ward, and that's actually something big to talk about. LGD starts with 2 sweeping lenses, which is very non-standard. Maybe you see one, but almost always it's exactly like OMG you see with all those warding totems early on.
Actually, that is something of a trend in LGD that I've noticed recently, is that they do favor some early sweeping lenses on their jungle and their support. I haven't seen it have a huge impact so far, but they obviously favor it for a reason since they keep doing it.
Well, and especially you see almost every single start to these games, it'll almost always be just 2 guys facing off against one another. One of them drops a ward and walks away. Well, you can't do that versus LGD because they do have those 2 sweepers. And talking about starts for the game, we do have standard lanes, so solo lane, and then duo down bottom. But junglers actually starting on opposite sides of the jungle mean they will be in a very different position, or may both just decide to go mid for their pressure.
Yeah, I think it's a smart decision by Twin to maybe look at the top lane, since they're not going to really win trades versus Thresh and Lucian necessarily, but Tristana and Braum are going to be very safe versus San and Cloud there.
Right, and so for LGD, like they're known for having these wacky early game strategies and maybe breaking lane phase like extremely early, but doesn't look like they're even going for anything like that right now. By this time in some of their earlier games, they had 5 people sitting mid lane in the brushes waiting to gank. So much more standard and passive than the craziness we've come to expect.
That's just a riff off of what a lot of Chinese teams like to do. Actually, OMG's was definitely known for some of those innovative early pressure, early grouping strategies last season. So LGD picking up on that. Tried to use it against OMG in the past. It kind of backfired.
Yeah.
So they're going for a safer start, more standard start this time.
And it is much safer, but you can see LGD starting to put the pressure on Hassan. He's down to half health. And PYL actually catching him there with the Winter's Bite. That could set him up for a little bit of struggle here, especially as Chuan comes down to the bottom lane. PYL staying aggressive. He actually might be baiting just a little bit too hard here. Winter's Bite down onto Cloud. They're going to be able to stun him out there as it locks him down. The knockup as well, and it's first blood going over to Chuan.
Yeah, so very nice patient play by Twen. They probably maybe even used the sweeper to clear out that tri-bush before Twen came in so that they knew that path was clear. I didn't actually see them do this, but I'm guessing that would be a smart thing to do. And so they were able to get a good angle onto Cloud, use the bait effectively, and get that first blood.
They're going for it again. The rocket jump in, but there's no Winter's Bite. PYL flashes for it. He gets it, but do they want to commit all the way? Forcing San to flash all the way back out. He is getting ignited. XQ rather gets the kill, but now he has to get out from behind the turret. The teleport's coming down. Twenge is going to go down as well. XQ hops over the wall, but PYL is going to be the one in trouble right now. There's no way Going's going to die here. He's even got the lantern, but 17's going to teleport bottom lane as well. He gets death sentence, not pulled in underneath the turret, has the body slam away. Going is going all the way. Can't continue the chase too much, but Cloud's coming in. Does he have the death sentence he needs? PYL's gonna walk into the dragon pit. No, don't do it. He might try to flash over the wall, but I don't think he actually has flash right now. And so yeah, PYL is gonna die to the combined efforts of Going and the dragon. Death sentence pulls in XQ and OMG. Living up to their name. An incredible turnaround off of an over-aggressive dive. They turn that one around 4-2.
Just when I was, again, condemned, there might be a little bit more action, but no, it looks like he's just going to clear out that ward. But just as I was sort of saying, LGD's playing a little bit safer, they try again to make the aggressive plays. It gets turned by a very nice teleport from Going. China finally learning to use those teleports effectively. It's been a little bit of a struggle for them in the past, but Going, that was an excellent teleport by him, turned the situation around, and they just kept pursuing that situation. Cool reacted much more quickly than Wayless, allowing them to get those kills. I think Wayless even backed, so that was a little unfortunate for LGD there.
Exactly. I don't know if they're... the flash forced out by the command Shockwave. Great positioning by Twen, but still unable to make the gank happen. Flash is forced, though, so cool without that. Man, what a way to start the game off. It's 6 minutes in, and like at the 4-minute mark, we're like, all right, nothing's happening, passive lane phase, and then everybody goes for crazy dives, and OMG is able to turn it around. I don't know if there are LPL cake fans out there, but... I would love to see their faces right now. So things getting kind of crazy, but more importantly, the kill's going to Going, finding two for himself there. A little bit of a disparity though in the bottom lane as XQ comes away with 1 kill, but San doesn't pick up any. So XQ may be a little bit further ahead in the gold department. Goes for first item Berserker Greaves. Now, traditionally, I would expect if you get early kills, then you start building off towards an item instead of your upgraded boots. But I'm not sure why they're ganking Going right here. Like, he's only level 5. There's a level 6 explosive cast. 17's gonna die to turret. Going's gonna be able to kite this down. He turns on his ultimate. He gets the outplay underneath the turret. Going is going all the way. 1v2 gets the kills.
Wow. Yeah, that was just a really excellent mechanical play by Going. He tried to stay, I think, close to the... No, he just went and knew he could get the kill off the tower, managed to get the level up with the advantage, and just went ham for it. He said, you know what, I'm either going to go down or I'm going to take someone with me, and he got the kill both ways. Just don't mess with that guy.
I can't begin to describe what just happened. Holy cow, or holy dragons up in the top lane, going. He's making some moves. So big plays in the bottom lane with a teleport. He defends himself off the gank top lane, and I'm getting a little bit of stream congestion here, so I'll be lagging it up a little bit. Let me desperately attempt to reconnect everything. And yeah, should be getting it back up and underway right now. So sitting at 807, 808, 809, so hopefully we can sync back up there. But yeah, exactly. Going is MVP of this game right now, 4-0, and he's picking those kills up in other lanes, in his own lane, just owning the entire map.
Yeah, and I mean, it was really, and then we also, I think while you were lagged out, you missed the gank down bottom by Drug, where they had the kill down onto PYL, so that was more advantages being picked up for OMG in all sides of the map.
Okay, now we get a replay of this top lane. You can see LGD is trying to use the fact that Going is only level 5 versus Gragas is level 6, but he just miraculously stays alive and 17 tanks the turret for too long. When he dies, he gives Going a full level 6 bar. He dives right over Jarvan and knocks him into the wall, and there's the LPL cake fan I was looking for. Big surprises on a lot of fans' faces, and a great outplay by Going. It's actually kind of pull back into the box there from XQ. XQ is pretty dead right here, but he does get the ignite down on Hassan, who will take the lantern back out, so he'll be safe and sound. But Cloud starting that fight off and landed a nice box. XQ couldn't handle it, and that'll be the 8th kill of the game here for OMG.
Yeah, I think I'm quite a bit ahead of you, actually, but we'll see if we can get the resync going here.
All right, let me go ahead and drop a quick refresh here. I'll throw it over back to the score screen for a second. So if we miss anything super cool, make sure to fill us in. But
yeah, I'll be sure to let you guys know. Looks like right now there's some pings going down for a potential blue buff invade onto LGD Gaming's blue, but it hasn't spawned yet. They're just going to stay content in the mid.
All right, so I'm back up at about 10 minutes, 10 seconds. Hopefully it'll sync us back up here in a second. But Cool and Drug clearing out the pink ward vision, and it doesn't look like any LPL rotations happening just yet.
Let's see what we may have missed here. It looks like just in general, OMG has been commanding the map just to catch a break here from all the action. Making plays in the top lane, making plays in the bottom lane, capitalizing on some of LGD's overcommits and overextensions. They're able to just pick up this free dragon here with knowledge that Wayla's backed. So they can just pick that up, knowing there won't be a very strong contest from LGD's mid lane, and they pick that up. Going picks up the top tower. Usually you have to make a choice between first tower and first dragon, but OMG's advantages are just letting them take every objective that they want.
An excellent dragon kiting there by Cloud. He prevented a lot of damage by juggling that aggro. So this is actually a big swing in power for OMG. They have so many early game kills, early game objectives, and just everything going their way. So the late game from Tristana is going to be significant, but knock up on Hassan, jump in on from XQ, the teleport's down there from 17, and he gets the knockback onto Cloud. So Sand's safe, Cloud is not, but Drug's right where he wants to be, gets the Dragon's Rage, he's got the combo. PYL's safe, but he gets dove by Going. Going's there to take out XQ, and Twen can't do anything. It's perfect TPs once again. Going everywhere he needs to be.
It seems to still be going.
Yeah, Wayla's actually forced to ghost here, and Going's gonna flash in on him. He's got the slow from the Bilgewater Cutlass. He has the red buff if he can just get off the auto attacks. The slow is there. The Xerath ults out. Can he find the kills onto Wayless? No. Can't land him. Excellent juking and jiving there. Wayless gets out alive.
Really nice dodging by Wayless. Again, we're seeing OMG reacting really quick to these engagements. It looks like there's going to be even more action here coming.
Yeah, Chuen's gonna try for the knockup, but he misses it. PYL's got the Winter's Bite there, but a perfect counter to that by Cloud throwing out the Dark Passage. Keeping everybody safe and sound. So OMG, they were trying to get out of position and get caught, but Cloud's not gonna let it happen.
Just a nice disengage. Both teams finally decide to leave each other alone. That was a really well executed plan by LGD with that teleport down bottom. But again, because of the slight itemization advantage, the BF sword versus the pickaxe at the time, Son was able to deal a fair amount of damage and stall off for the rest of OMG to react and get the return teleport. A little bit of sloppy play on both sides, but OMG eventually does come out with a 1 kill advantage in that exchange as well.
Oh yeah, so OMG looking pretty strong across the board, but none stronger than their top lane. Going at 13 minutes has a Banshee's Veil, and he's almost up to his Blade of the Ruined King. Like, 6 kills for a top laner. You don't really see a whole lot of carry performances from top laners anymore. It's traditionally left up to mid and 80 carry, as witnessed by our first series of the night. But man, Going is just feeding off of all of this, and off of teleporting bottom lane twice. He has a CS advantage too, so not a whole lot more that you can ask for. I really feel like, I mean, Same's got the fame, but maybe lacking a little bit in the consistency as World Elite having some struggles. And in the absence of PDD, Going is your big figure for top lane. He's living up to the hype.
And there might be a little engagement coming up soon, but just in the
Yeah, it does look
blue
like
side jungle.
All right, yeah, there's blue side jungle, red side jungle, a lot of action across the map. 17 actually dies. Did have a little bit of action going down on red side jungle too, but the explosive cast coming in there from 17 was a desperate attempt at trying to steal that blue back for LGD, but he overcommitted a little bit too far and wound up going down for it. So 4-12 now, a huge advantage for OMG, and just more kills coming their way every time you look.
And it's just really difficult to not underline how powerful each of OMG's lanes can be. They all have sort of the carry potential in the correct situations, and it's coming out here pretty much across the board.
Now mid lane Wayless is going to get dove, Drug is going to get command shockwaved back, but there's Going just to dive right on top of him. He's completely invincible to all that Orianna damage with all that early magic resistance. Chuan dunks him down, but actually is able to escape. Drugs try to run, and OMG are caught in a horrible position here. They're in between 2 turrets. Drug can't find a wolf to get away to because of course there's only one left for some reason. 17 looks for the explosive cask and finds it. Big kill for the big man there. 17 coming up, well, big.
And we see it. We've talked about it all night. Even in the previous game, it seems not even OMG is immune to overcommitting without vision of the opposition. They had no idea where LGD's bottom lane was, and still they went for the overzealous engagement. And rest of LGD's team was really close by and was able to punish them for that aggressive play there.
Yeah, Chuan had a really nice outplay with the dunk into flash out of his Cataclysm, and OMG are just like, well, we really wish we weren't all trapped in a Cataclysm underneath this turret, and maybe they'll rethink that one a little bit. Getting over aggressive, trying to push their advantage, but I love how Going was there. He was like willing to participate, but he's just like, I don't think I'm quite that crazy, and he got out before he wound up giving away his 6-0 killing spree, so he's not legendary quite yet, but one more kill will get him there. It'd be interesting to see his participation in this next fight, just because Dragon's coming up in about 20 seconds, and he does have teleport up. Of course, so does 17, so we'll be seeing, once again, another big shift in power once that Dragon spawns.
Another teleport off, so to speak. Yeah, it looks like OMG's primed. They have the timer. They're setting up for it, but LGD is gathering around it too. They're a little bit behind, but they might be risking the smite. And Chuan is not making any moves, so OMG just takes that for free.
Exactly. They are going to... I mean, Chuan, he wanted to get in range for the smite, but he didn't want to overcommit and die. Could have, like, flag and drag back out of there, but even still, look at Going. And I love this. You see this a lot out of top laners. They'll pink that bush behind the mid lane turret and just sit there and wait for either the jungler to walk by so they can damage him for free, or just dive the mid laner. especially if you're as far ahead as Going is, and he is going to come around here, positioning very aggressively. Drug's got the engage if he wants to, and he stops it with a safeguard. But Going actually staying behind enemy lines a little bit too long, gets a little bit of damage coming back his way. Will be forced to play less aggressively than he is.
He seems to know that he's able to tank up quite a bit because he extended and then he saw 3 members of LGD there, which at first he stepped back like he didn't expect to see them there, but then he came back and he said, you know what, I got this. I can totally tank all this. And they caught him, but they couldn't do that much damage to him, so apparently his confidence wasn't irrational.
The culling, not actually culling very much thanks to that unbreakable. So great usage of the spell there by PYL. I mean, the culling's not a super long cooldown ultimate, so San will have that back up for the next fight. And Going is rather just kind of like rotating between the jungle camps. He is now the LGD jungler, taking out wolves, and he was thinking about the white, but top half of the map will be taken back by LGD, at least for the time being. Dragon, of course, did go to OMG, both dragons, because of course they have Going there. And 17, man, 17. He is very, very generous with his positioning, and it's gotten him killed a couple times.
And again, we're just seeing the advantage. The team with the advantage gets the pink wards. Oh wow, OMG going for a very gutsy Baron, but considering there's no vision of it, they might be able to get away with it. But it looks like Chuan's Baron senses are tingling here, so.
And I mean, it's 19 minutes into the game, and I know Going's massive, but Drug was forced to tank that Baron until Going got there. And now Drug almost dies, the Baron's on San, so yeah, OMG. It was a cool idea. They were able to sneak it from over the back and just try to take it a little bit ahead of schedule, but didn't have the tankiness on Drug to be able to two-man that.
Yeah, they needed a little bit more help from their friends there, and when the rest of OMG started moving toward the Baron, they brought LGD with them, so they decided to just back off that and let it go.
I feel like that's a song or something. But probably some good advice for LPL as well.
I feel like there were a couple songs in there.
Well, I mean,
help from the friends and let it go.
Oh, that's true. PYL is looking to make a whole lot more people frozen, but needs a team to back him up before he goes in for the ultimate. So LGD, they've got a nice team fight synergy with like the ball delivery system, but they do have to make sure that 17 doesn't screw up Wayless's ultimate, because I cannot count the number of times. It used to be with like Xin Zhao, before he came into he would like run into a team fight, ult everybody away, and then Orianna would use the shockwave, and it'd be really sad. But now you can do the same thing with Gragas ultimate. So a little bit of caution there for LGD when they go in for their big wombo combos. Oh, Chuen and PYL, they're both wait, what? Oh my gosh, Drug, you just saved him! Come on, man. Kick over the wall is not gonna allow OMG any opportunity. The pull back in onto PYL. There's the box, and even with the unbreakable, he's just not. Bone's getting shattered there on the ground, and nobody's getting frozen this time, as PYL will fall down. OMG looking very, very strong. Mid turret, a lot of pressure. We'll go down here sooner or later. Going's off to the side, threatening the dive off this next wave.
I think even though OMG Drug's kick was a little bit awkward there, his Dragon Rage, it still accomplished what it was supposed to. It summoned the rest of LGD, and they were to try to help, and they were able to get a pick off that.
Drug going in, trying to bait the engage. Another death sentence lands on a 17, and Chuan is going to have to be very careful as he will get himself out of there. Meanwhile, this entire time, Going's just been going top lane, split pushing that all the way down, and he'll actually take the second tier top lane turret off of this more likely than not. It's actually fairly high HP, but he's got Drug in his buddy system. coming down there. He does overstay, but he will take the turret. And actually, he's going to go for the dive onto PYL. He knows that he's got backup, but I'm not sure if he has enough. PYL almost dying. Go went into that 4v5, and now we've got the ultimates coming in from Xerath. It's not enough. 17. He gets sniped off by Drug from the backside. Drug and going all the way. Wayless and PYL desperately kiting for their lives here, but Drug lands it again, and he's able to find the kill there onto PYL. He gets the kick flash onto Wayless too. OMG. Styling on LGD right now. A 1-for-4 exchange.
And that was a really good fight. I don't know if that was generally necessarily planned or if it was communicated well, because Going definitely engaged a little bit early there, but with all of his advantage and all of his tank stats, he was able to just live through it, wait for the rest of OMG to flank around the backside, and they pretty much cleaned up there. There's no other way to describe that.
I think at this point, like, Going is just baiting LGDs. Like, look at how stupid a position is. I'm one champion in the middle of 4 other people. That has to be a fight that you're going to take. And LGD are just like, well, we can't really not take that fight. And then Drug came in, was his little buddy system there for a while. And then the rest of OMG just said, all right, fine. If you guys are going to start the fight, we'll come help you finish. Cloud, Drug, they get the pull in onto Chuan. We got the Lantern coming in as well. A missed stun from Cool, but it just doesn't matter. Too much damage coming out there, as well as a dragon off the back of that. OMG, find the pick on the jungler, and we'll take another objective off the back of that.
Yeah, and they're just finding picks. They're putting the wards out where they want them to be. They probably need to get some more wards around the Baron area in the topside jungle. LGD was just there clearing out, so since they have their lead, they have this advantage, they can pretty much clear that out at their leisure. But yeah, OMG just generally in a very good position. They can get away with a lot of ridiculous stuff as we see going on at the top lane right now.
Yeah, Going is pretty ridiculous, and I don't think 17 is going to try to make it out of here. He throws down his teleport, and he's going to TP back to base. So, lack of CC thanks to the dragon form being exposed, but I don't know. It's kind of like, oh, how cool it is that you're able to teleport out of this horrible situation. But what horrible situation you find yourselves in. 17 makes it out alive, but it's not looking good for LGD.
I feel like this is one of those situations where one team has to make a public apology.
And they're just like, well, we didn't mean to beat them that badly. It just kind of happened, and now kind of looking for kills in all the right places. OMG are finding a lot. They do get the death sentence, and it's actually Cloud the one to engage with the box. He flashes over the wall here, but will Drug actually go down there? He's in the middle of the team, but he actually has way too much damage to back him up. Look at the snipes from Cool. He's just getting everything, but oh, XQ's got some damage to dish out. Cloud coming in trying for a few assists of his own, and it is actually Cool who will find the kill onto XQ. Looking pretty XQ there, but now Going. Can he clean this fight up? He's looking for a kill on Chuan, but Command Shockwave just, oh, he tries for the ult over the wall, but he can't get that one either. Not able to get out away from that one. It's Going's first death of the game, and a 4-for-3 exchange in favor of LGD.
Yeah, and that was a little bit of cockiness, a little bit of overconfidence, and some scattered targeting in that fight in particular could definitely cost them. XQ able to just position very well, use his rocket jump very intelligently, and we might get a replay coming up here. So we'll try to walk through that one a little bit.
Yeah, so PYL is going to throw out his Winter's Bite there, and his Braum ultimate is actually pretty good. Look at it, just dialing up right down the center, call and collect on OMG, and LGD now pushing them out. Like, XQ, like you said, excellent positioning, or XQ-lent positioning as well. He's going to flash over the wall to get the kill onto Drug, and then he immediately just jumps not onto Cool, but back towards PYL to keep himself protected. Now, ultimately, Cool will be able to find the counter kill back onto XQ, but at this point, Going is the only one there along with Cloud, and this outplay at the very end, Going finally fills up his bar so he can ult over the wall, but look at how cool this is. He's gonna try, but he just pulls right back in by Wayless, so beautiful outplay, taking down, it's his first kill of the game, and again, LPL Cake fan, pretty excited about LGD's comeback.
And a couple things to point out though. Definitely Wayless used that shockwave very creatively, but maybe it was on cooldown until then. I just have to wonder a little bit why it might not have been used earlier. The other thing is that going, that took a lot of energy to kill them. So if LGD wants to get back into this game effectively, they have to hope that OMG continues to make these mistakes until they can make up for that huge difference, because it's still taking a lot of energy to take down that giant dragon there.
It's true, and it's just going to keep taking more and more resources. Now, it's not only the Banshees failed, but you also have Randuin's Omen already completed onto both Going and Drug. So they'll be going for crazy dives, and the turrets just aren't going to hurt them very much, at least not at this phase of the game. Especially when you consider that LGD, they're down 10,000 gold, and they've been down 10,000 gold for the last almost like 5 to 10 minutes, so... The struggle continues as LGD desperately try to keep this game from ending and stall things out, but I mean, XQ is pretty much the basket that LGD have put their hopes in. Can he carry this out as a Tristana without even a last whisper?
But LGD is, given that the gold lead is that massive, it is still very impressive that they managed to take that fight. They're picking the fights, they're making the plays in the area where they have vision control. So... they're kind of hanging out where they know they're safe, where they think that OMG might extend into. So that kind of forethought, that kind of shot calling is going to be what gets them back in this game, if anything.
Well, and it is a 2-game series. We've already seen one split tonight, and could actually see the other one. The 1-1 split was actually predicted by all 3 of the casters, so might see that here. Now the Jarvan Standard kind of giving things away. OMG won't have the most effective bait, but they will keep their control of the dragon area.
And OMG has been known to be a little bit cocky in the past. Going likes to give out a lot of posts when they lose games due to strange picks. It's like, oh yeah, so many games lost from overconfidence, and it's on his Weibo. And it's either he's just saying that to save face, or they do like to try to style on people when maybe they shouldn't have. So maybe they'll get serious here and clean up their act if they want to close out.
Oh, and Going this entire game has just been monstrous. And I almost feel like there is an extent to which... drug baiting out Chuen coming in at it. But there is an extent to which OMG can try to brute force their victory here by just cramming Going right down the middle and desperately hoping for an engage. But a big jump in there by Chuen. He's going to catch a couple. Clouds got there in the back line, but look at how well OMG are just kiting backwards. The culling coming in from behind, and the snipe on the back line as Wayless goes down to Cool's long-range ultimate. It's a 5-0 and a team wipe for OMG. They once again live up to their name, crushing the base.
And they might be able to close out here if they don't just decide to go for more turrets and more... they are going to try to go for at least some Nexus turrets here and probably the game. But that play was really, really good baiting by Drug. As soon as he... Going was flanking around the back, LGD thought that they were able to catch up to OMG there. They started to chase, and Drug ran away like he was scared. Like, I was convinced he was scared. I forgot that I had seen OMG wrap around, so they got that engage on there, and then Going just, as you said, rammed himself into 4 people, and they cleaned up that fight very well. They had enough of their own nonsense, and they just took the game.
And that is game 1 in a very dominant fashion to OMG. And while LGD did show signs of life, we'll have to see if they can come alive here in game number 2. Keep their hopes at this 1-1 coming their way. So take a quick break here, so don't go away. It'll be about 10 minutes and we'll come into our last game of the night to see whether or not LGD lives up to the caster's predictions and can come 1-1, or if OMG are going to just continue to skyrocket their way to the top of the standings. We'll have that game coming up in about 10 minutes. Thank you for watching the LPL here in English on Twitch TV. We'll be right back after a short break.
差距很大，对，确实看皇子一个闪现2连，一个2连一个大招，泽拉斯直接闪现走，然后回头一个 E 技能打了一套，皇子就直接吃不消。
对， 那么其实老干爹在中期一波团战，就是在自己家野区找到了一波机会，还是那一波打的还是不错的。主要是酒桶依靠自己比较灵巧的身躯先上去把卢仙秒了，找到了一波机会，可能让他们脑子里觉得自己还是有反打的能力的，但是实际上正面团战他们装备还是落后的有点多。
是的，
这一波回放。
这波好像是4个人去包龙女吧？
对
，5个人去包龙女跟卢仙。
原来是拆掉这座塔，
但是他们也是丝毫不怂，直接开
直接
破败7口。
看一下龙女顶着4个人，
大招
还在顶，
感觉好像完全没什么压力。
对，
发条大招，
发条大招给的不错。
德拉斯这边远程大招
但是神还是扛不住伤害。哎，但是闪现走了，卢锡安也是闪现跟上，
还在追。
这边发条继续 QW 收掉卢锡安，但是后方 OMG 这边支援来了，发条继续往前跑，开了一个疾跑，
他就是瞎子，
这里瞎子一个 T 到不动，2段 T， 等接下来一个 TW 顺眼过去，
一个大招。哇，
这边是
发条，
这边是闪现大招吗？
是大招闪现，先 R 再闪现。对，在 R 的一瞬间闪现，这样，他判定你闪现之后 R 的位置。
这一波打的也是非常亮，直接把发条给踢了回来。
那么也是稍微休息一下，等会儿期待他们2个下一场的精彩比赛。
I guess very well, but they've been doing very like strange, surprising things. They were the first team that I ever saw go for like the 4 to 5 man, like 3-minute gank mid lane that no mid laner suspects, and you pick a couple of high CC champions like Morgana, maybe Elise, and you go for some crazy early ganks. LGD is the quintessential no laning phase team. They will just sit in your enemy jungle, roam around, and kill anybody that comes through there. So it's pretty weird the kind of things that they've been doing, at least by traditional sort of North American or European standards. So it's actually really exciting to watch some of these times. You can see their lineups coming through there. And a big star on the team, you got to look at Wayless. He came out of the LSPL, if I'm not mistaken, and has just actually stacked up some pretty impressive numbers, but has taken a few really hard falls, so just leading to some of the inconsistencies from LGD that land them at the middle of the pack.
And again, we keep seeing more assassin favoring mid laners.
也是被 Faker 吊打过的人，你是想这么说吗？
哎，这是你说的。
他还真没被 Faker 吊打过，其实当时是5开。
改口的速度贼快，是他突然想一下，今天在我们这个直播开始。
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the LPL, of course, brought to you guys in English here on Twitch TV. My name is Rapid. I'm here with our special guest for tonight, Kelsey Moser, who is filling in for our regularly designed programming for tonight's Best of Twos. Second Best of Two coming your way between OMG and LGD. In case you missed the first one, it was a 1-1 split between Starhorn and World Elite Academy. Once again, showing that they have a lot of issues there, but a unanimous caster decision here. 1-1s across the board. I would have expected to see it more favored towards OMG, but it appears as if...
Yeah, I'm really surprised to see that too, actually. I think, though, they are taking into account the 2 weeks where OMG used Neymar and they didn't look that strong. So in terms of the week where they had Cloud back and they looked really dominating, that's just one isolated set. So they're sort of taking this into account. LGD, though, their performance has been pretty off and on as well. So they can be surprising. Chuen, who has been criticized a lot for a shallow champion pool, meaning that he just plays Lee Sin, has the past couple sets shown that he can do a little bit more with Elise and Jarvan than we've seen from him before. So that sort of lends a little bit of element of surprise coming out of this LGD roster, and let's see if they can prove the casters right and take a win off of.
And to be honest, LGD have been performing in the 80 carry rankings in China. I don't know about that. I haven't necessarily seen like super hardcore carries out of him. But now we're gonna move on to OMG. They are one of the last 7. They are the last 70% plus win rate team in LPL. We're going to start things from the bottom line, and this is, of course, looking at back to the team. It's Cloud, and nobody could be happier to see Cloud back on the team than myself. Casting Neymar's games was a little bit rough here and there, but Cloud is back, and he is down in the bottom lane to dish out some devastation. And it's so good to see him just back and kind of gelling there with San in the bottom lane, because OMG looks back to as strong as they've ever been.
And yeah, part of that is definitely San can be a pretty strong AD carry in the teamfight phase, but he's definitely very dependent on synergy with his support player. So having a strong position there also makes San do much better than he was doing without him. So that's a huge impact. And Wayless is no exception. He's definitely the primary playmaker of this team, but XQ here, he's sort of a rising AD carry star coming out here. He's been playing a lot of Lucian, a lot of Jinx, as you can see in the past few games, so that represents a wide range of styles that he's able to access, and he's been doing well. And PYL is the captain of the team here. He has played against some strange picks, like we mentioned, the Zillion. LGD is very creative with their compositions. They try to play to the champions and to what they are capable of. PYL is a very strong captain. And Wayless joined the team pretty much on the fact that he was the captain and had so much faith in him. So when LGD wins, it's usually due to PYL's creativity and some of the strategic plays that he comes out with.
That's true, and I actually saw a ranking system the other day that said that XQ is actually one of, if not, he's way up there